Oh, look who it is. He's back. I know, you're a lab cat. In order to understand your destiny and the path that you are destined to take in this lifetime, one of the main factors to focus on is what we call the chart ruler in traditional astrology. Now, the chart ruler is the ruler of the planet of the first house. Now, I go by whole sign. So with whole sign, we're going to be looking at the first house and what planet is ruling that first house. You can also go by modern rulerships. For example, Scorpio, you can also look to Pluto if you'd like to, as well as Pisces, you can also look to Jupiter and Neptune. I am going to attach here a visual so you guys can see the planets and the traditional rulers. You can also go with modern rulers if you would like for Scorpio and Pisces, as well as Aquarius. But in this video, I'm going to stick to the traditional rulerships. So by knowing where the chart ruler is located within the 12 houses, you can then pinpoint the topics of those houses to help you identify the type of circumstances or situations and overall topics of that house in order to help you see what kind of things you need to focus on or work with in order to steer your way down your life path. My name is Ileana Reyes and welcome back to Matriarch Astrology. Now, there are many layers to this topic that we won't be going into in this video as it is very general. Other things that we would look at in a personal chart reading would be the modality as well as aspects that the ruler is making to any other planets, especially malefics, whether it's masculine or feminine. There's a lot more that plays into this, but again, this is a very general interpretation. So for a more in-depth analysis, I would highly recommend a chart reading either with myself or any other astrologer. Now, with that being said, let's start off with the chart ruler in the first house. So the chart ruler of the first house being in the first house, we already know that this planet is already in its home here in the first house. It is in its own placement. So here we are going to see topics of personal power as well as independence. So the first house in astrology represents a person's sense of self, and when a planet is in its own rulership in this house, it can then enhance that person's own sense of personal power and independence. This could suggest that the person feels like they are in complete control of their lives, making them less likely to be dependent on other people in order to make decisions. So they're going to want to make decisions for themselves, which then results in a strong sense of identity and purpose. So this type of confidence allows them to assert themselves in many aspects of their lives. So with this placement, we are definitely going to want to have a focus and an emphasis on self-improvement, personal growth, leadership, and confidence. By doing these things, we are on the right path towards our destiny. Now, people with the ruler of the first and the first may need to learn and work on the following topics. And this is really depending on aspects and much more. So as I already mentioned, there is a need to focus on one's own identity and self-worth. And if that is something that might be hard for you, let's say if you have harder aspects, then this is something that you are going to want to put a lot of emphasis and focus on. So you're going to need to learn how to be focused and self-sufficient while also maybe learning to become a little bit more comfortable in the spotlight and learning to express yourself more authentically, more comfortably. There will be that strong need here to develop self-confidence and self-esteem. And since this house is naturally opposing the seventh house, which is the house of others, the first house is the house of self, we need to learn how to balance our own needs with the needs of others and making sure that it's not too much one way or the other. Also, learning how to assert yourself in a positive, constructive way is going to be important with this placement, and also learning how to use their own self-power in a constructive way while avoiding becoming too arrogant or too domineering. Next up, we have ruler of the first in the second house. Now, having ruler of the second in the first could mean that you put financial security first above all. There could be a big focus and determination to succeed and make enough money to live on. So by focusing on topics that have to do with creating income, cultivating assets, or these people could do really well with side hustles. They could also start a small business or put money aside into stocks or real estates or even work as freelancers. Also, one good thing to invest time in is any type of investment, education courses, financial advisors, and money management type of courses will be very beneficial. This can really help and aid them in reaching their financial goals. So those with the ruler of the first and the second may need to learn the importance of financial stability and security. Again, as I had mentioned in the beginning, this is really going to depend on a lot of other aspects, so this is very general. They may need to also learn how to manage their resources effectively, how to balance their need for material comforts with their spiritual and emotional needs. It's going to be very important here to learn how to earn and maintain wealth through hard work and dedication, as well as finding the joy and pleasures in simplicity rather than only relying on material possessions. Next up, we have the chart ruler in the third house. So this placement could indicate that a person is interested in communication, ceremonies, feminism and women's rights, goddess worship, sibling relationships, as well as divination, any type of ceremonial acts as well, like rituals, full moon ceremonies. These topics can really help pinpoint the way of your destiny. This placement could indicate a love for learning, as well as being really good with words, and this could be through spoken or written words. And you could also be looking for something new and fresh frequently. And this is because this placement, people would like to keep their minds active, keep busy. They really like a lot of mental stimulation. Also, with this placement, we do want to keep a good balance between spending time alone and interacting and communicating and being with others, as we really want to take care of our mental health. Now, to keep from feeling overwhelmed or burnt out, it is going to be very important to find a good mix between socializing and being out with others and being mentally stimulated, with also knowing when to take time away, spend time alone to recharge. Because again, like I had mentioned, this energy can be a bit overstimulated, or wanting to be overstimulated, or just wanting to learn a lot. So we want to make sure we're finding a good balance between socializing and time alone. Those with the ruler of the first and the third will need to also learn possibly effective communication skills, especially if we have harder aspects, because remember, these all really depend on planetary placements or other planetary placements as well as aspects. So we're going to really have to learn how to express ourselves clearly, especially if that's something that we're struggling with. Also, we want to learn how to be receptive to others' opinions and ideas. There will be a need here to learn how to network and build relationships with others in the community. Also, people with displacement will need to learn how to use technology and social media to their advantage. Now, I don't know if that's going to be the case much, because social media is so big right now, but maybe some people are a bit shy and don't really want to go on and make videos or do lives. But when you have displacement, that's something that you can really take advantage of and something you should really work towards. It will also be important to learn how to be more organized and managing your time more efficiently, because this could be a little bit more of a scattered energy, especially if it's an air sign. So just take that into consideration. And last, I think a good thing to learn and take note here is to really put an emphasis on balancing your intellectual pursuits with your emotional needs. Next up, we have the chart ruler in the fourth house. Now, here we may see a focus on property, real estate, ancestry, parent, their native land, as well as their connection to their ancestors. These type of topics will help lead the way. Now, one thing that's very important with this placement is knowing that the home can be a very helpful place for healing and growing. People with this placement can make their home a place that supports both their mental and their physical health. So it will be very important to have your home as your own sacred space, a place where you can recharge, relax, and that you feel like it's really helping you gather up the strength to deal with the real world, the outside world, and life's ups and downs. And depending on aspects, especially if we have harder aspects, it will be very important to learn how to set up your home to be a safe space for you, to make sure that if you don't have the entire home as your sanctuary, that at least maybe your bedroom or meditation meditation room, or just a corner in your home that is a place where you can go to maybe light some candles, light an incense, pull some tarot cards, or whatever it is that you do in order to rejuvenate yourself and feel centered and recharged. That's going to be very important to learn to do that if you aren't already doing that with this placement. Now, if you haven't already connected with your ancestries or your roots, it's going to be very important with this placement. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to go and do a 23andMe or a Ancestry.com type of thing, but that would be beneficial if that's something that you're into. It will be very important to make sure that you prioritize your own self-care and setting healthy boundaries as well with other family members, because harmony and peace is going to be a major theme for you, and it's going to be something that's very important for your overall mental health, especially with this type of placement. It would be very beneficial to either go through therapy or some type of healing modality that really helps you express your emotions in a healthy and constructive way. And using creativity as an outlet would be very beneficial. So a great way to do this could be through creative arts. I think that's not a really good channel for this energy, or for your own energy, is to use the creative arts in whatever way you feel. It could be through painting, through modeling clay or pottery, whatever you find that you're drawn to in the creative arts. And the last thing I would say for this placement is that it's very important to create a sense of home no matter where you are. So as we know, life changes and shifts, and sometimes we end up moving to new places or having to live in certain places for a certain amount of time. So wherever it is that you are, just make it as homey as you can, as comforting as you can, because that's really going to help with your mental health. Building a safe and comfortable home is really big with this placement. Next up, we have the chart ruler in the 5th house. So the 5th house is linked to creativity as well as children. Now, if you have children, making your children a priority can lead you towards topics and activities that lead to your life path. And if you don't have children, then your creativity and the topics related to your own creativity will lead you towards your path. So focusing on your creativity, for instance, could mean going into the arts as a job or a career, or starting a business that involves creative outlets or creative activities. And if we are dealing with harder aspects here or other planetary placements, we could see here that there may be a need to express yourself creatively and to take risk in order to pursue your passions. There could be a strong emphasis here on finding joy and fulfillment in your creative endeavors. We may also see here an importance on your own needs for self-expression and balancing that with the needs of others. It will also be important here to develop a healthy relationship with your own inner child and to find ways to nurture yourself in a playful, creative way, and learning how to channel your creativity in a productive, positive way. And finally, I would say that it is important here to learn to be more comfortable with putting yourself out there. Next up, we have the chart ruler in the 6th house. Now, the 6th house could represent healing from your own injuries or helping others heal in a type of way, assisting them either mentally or physically, being of service to others. Your attempts to treat a potential health problem could become a major focus or a theme. Also, it could be that stresses at work causes physical manifestations or physical illnesses within the body, either chronic or acute, more likely acute. It could also be a person with this placement cares a lot about their own physical health, their mental health, and the health of others, as well as an interest in the healing arts. And that could be either through Reiki, acupuncture, herbal remedies, just alternative type of medicines. Having this placement could be that you find happiness through helping others, assisting others, or even helping animals, farm animals, or veterinarian type of work. There could be a strong emphasis here on developing a healthy daily routine, healthy diet and exercise, and self-care. Just make sure that you are finding a healthy balance between helping others while also taking care of yourself. Both are important for your overall health. Now, of course, depending on aspects and other planets in this house, time management may be something that you may need to work on. So it could be that you need to work on setting a daily schedule that's structured and being able to manage your time efficiently. And there may be a strong need here to find find a sense of purpose in the work field. So you may need to explore different career paths or find ways to infuse your current job with a sense of purpose and meaning. Next up, we have the chart ruler in the 7th house. Now, having this placement will indicate that the planet is naturally in detriment because it is opposing the 1st house. So having the ruler here is going to show how we are connected to others. And when you are with someone partnered, you may end up finding out more of who you are through that relationship. And whether you are aware of it or not, they may end up shaping your life path. If you are in a partnership with someone, this individual may act as a type of guide and influence you and your future relationship. So let's say that this relationship doesn't last. The way that you go towards your next relationship is going to be affected due to how that relationship was, if that makes sense. So you end up acting a different way or doing things differently because of what you learned in that past relationship. Now, as I have already mentioned, having this placement indicates that the ruler is automatically in detriment. So it is going to be very important to find a middle ground here between what your partner wants and what you want. It's going to be very important to finding a healthy balance between the two of you and not allowing them to make all the decisions and choices for you. Although asking your partner for advice is normal and natural, but relying too much on your partner to make decisions for you or to guide your way could really hinder your own personal growth and development. So it's very important to find a middle ground where you can both work together. However, you make your own plans for your life. So a lot will depend on aspects and any other planets within that house. So just keep that in mind. But with this placement, just remember that you are the guide in your life. So some things to keep in mind with this placement is that communication is key. So make sure that you're taking time to listen to your partner, their needs, while also expressing your own needs in a clear and respectful manner. Hold on, I'm getting hot. Now, having this placement will indicate that trust is very essential here. And as we all know, that building trust does take time, but it is very important to be honest and open with your partner in order to develop a deep, healthy connection. And as I already mentioned, but I will say again, it's something that we need to learn here is to understand and honor your own needs. It is very important to take care of yourself and know your own boundaries for your own mental health and self-care. Next up, we have the chart ruler in the 8th house. So here we may see topics related to mortality or loss, as well as others' resources, inheritance, mediumship, occult topics, and the afterlife. Having the chart ruler here could indicate that this person already has a deep understanding about death and how death can change people, and they may be drawn to learn more about the afterlife and about mediumship or other psychic phenomena, or that they may be drawn to psychological work, therapeutic type of work, healing modalities through psychoanalysis, fears, as well as anxieties. So having the chart ruler here may imply that you need to face your deepest fears and insecurities. And despite its challenges, this can be very empowering for you. Also, there will be a deep need here to build intimacy as well as vulnerability. So there will be here a need to learn how to communicate your deepest needs and thoughts and emotions. And I know that this will be difficult for some, but it really will help you connect with others, especially a partner, more intimately and deeply. And it's going to help you be able to build trust and faith. So those with this placement could benefit from leaning more towards trusting the universe and having a little bit more faith and belief that things will work out. And I know that this can be difficult, but it can help you find inner peace and well-being in the grand scheme of things. Next up, we have chart ruler in the 9th house. So those with the ruler in the 9th will find interest in exploring topics related to either religion, spirituality, philosophy, law, and higher education. And other topics related to the 9th house would be astrology, long distance travel, and divination. So those with this placement will have this strong desire to learn, again, depending on aspects in other planets, but overall there is a desire to gain new perspectives and having cultural experiences and being able to travel and learn about other cultures and other spiritual traditions. And if travel is not something you can do, then even just researching these topics beliefs can really help people with this placement understand themselves and the world around them better. So focusing on these type of topics are really going to help them towards their path. So if we're dealing with harder aspects or other planetary placements here, some things that we might need to learn with this placement is the value of learning other belief systems or other cultures in order to increase your own knowledge and points of view. Higher education and lifelong learning are going to be crucial for expanding one's own views of the world. And you may need to come up with your own principles or set of beliefs that works for you. So an example of that is learning a little bit of, let's say, Buddhism, learning a little bit of, let's say, like yoga, Buddhism, paganism, and just kind of like taking bits and pieces from everything and making your own little belief system. That's something that I do. I kind of take a little bit from everything and kind of like put it together in my own little cauldron. I have this placement and I have my own set of beliefs. I don't follow one particular thing like to the T. It has to be this one and only thing. I like learning from all different types and taking what I like from each one and mixing it in my own little cauldron and following that. Very liberating and free for me. I love that for myself. So if that's something that you're not already doing or that's hard for you to do, I would highly suggest trying that. And if traveling is something you can do, it would be highly beneficial for your learning and growth. And that's something that I'm slowly incorporating into my life, and it's so liberating and I absolutely love it. I feel like I learn so much each time that I travel. Also, we will need to find a strong balance here between our own need for personal freedom and adventure with our responsibilities and obligations. And when you feel that you have gathered a lot of knowledge, being able to share and communicate that with others is something that could really help you on your path, being able to effectively communicate your ideas. And while you do that, just make sure that you are keeping an open mind and accepting people with different perspectives and point of views. Next up, we have the chart ruler in the 10th house. So career and reputation are going to be very important for people with this placement, and finding a career that aligns with their values, goals, and aspirations is going to be very important. People with this placement can steer their life path towards their desired destination by taking responsibility for their choices and working to build a good reputation and satisfying career. Now, depending on any other planets or aspects, it will be important to learn how to keep a healthy home and life balance with this placement, because career and public image can be very important to you, but sometimes that can lead to putting too much emphasis on career and not so much on the home life. So we want to make sure that we're getting a good balance between the two. If possible, find out how to become an authority in your field of work. That would be very beneficial to help you accomplishing your goals. Also, coming up with strategies for overcoming work-related setbacks or criticism will be very beneficial. And it will be important to find how to use your career to make the world a better place. That's going to be really fulfilling for those with this placement. Next up, we have the chart ruler in the 11th house. Those with the ruler of the 1st and the 11th will have a strong link between their desires, their social networks, and groups of friends. So your wants and needs may be steered or influenced by the wants and needs of your social groups and your friends. So it's going to be very important to have harmony and balance within your social networks and your friend groups, because this is going to lead you towards your destined path, or these type of topics will. Now, especially depending on aspects and other planetary placements, it's going to be very important to make friends with those who have the same values as you, as well as your interests and goals. It will be important to welcome fresh ideas from others, as well as change as a learning opportunity. Make sure, if you can, use your creativity and innovation to improve society as a whole. And similar to the 3rd house, it is important to find a healthy balance between your need for freedom with your need for connecting with others, because there is going to need to be a healthy balance here between spending time with others and spending some time alone. It will be important to learn here how to work as a team while still maintaining your own goals and aspirations, and make sure that you are using social media if you can, and technology, in order to connect and promote your ideas. Next up, we have the chart ruler in the 12th house. Now here we see discovering your true purpose and your path through difficult or spiritual experiences. Now with this placement, life can be tough, and it is often through loss and pain that we truly learn and grow. Having this placement could indicate that you are having to face challenges and obstacles, as well as setbacks in your own journey towards self-discovery and spiritual growth. However, it is through these challenging experiences that you will gain insight and knowledge, as well as understanding, ultimately leading you towards your true purpose and fulfillment. Now, whether it's through meditation, spirituality, or healing modalities, exploring these type of topics will help guide you. Now, depending on any other planets here or aspects, it may be very important to learn how to use your intuition and inner guidance to get through life. So people with this placement may need to learn getting used to giving up control and trusting the universe. Very similar to the 8th house. It will be important to find inner peace through solitude and self-analysis. And it would be very beneficial to learn about metaphysical and spiritual topics. Those with this placement will really need to learn how to heal from old baggage and old wounds, and letting go of all of that negativity and past hurts, and in exchange then focus a lot on self-care, both physically and mentally. And this could be through relaxation, psychotherapy, spiritual healing modalities, whatever is more comfortable and suitable for you. Now there will be a strong need here to express yourself creatively. This will really help you find constructive ways to deal with your feelings. And if you're not feeling super creative, maybe finding something or developing a type of creative outlet or creative activity that you feel drawn to is something that you can explore. Also, depending again on aspects, we may need to develop here more empathy and compassion for others, and learning and understanding how everything in the universe is linked and connected to everything else. It's all really interconnected. Well, there you guys have it, the chart ruler through all 12 houses. And please remember that this is very general, as the element, the modality, and much more really goes into play here. So this is very general, as well as aspects that could really alter, modify, and change how this will manifest. So as I said in the beginning, a chart reading, either with myself or another astrologer, is highly recommended for a more personal chart interpretation. Either way, I hope that you guys have found this video helpful. And if you did, comment your chart ruler down below and how this has manifested for you. I would love to hear your experiences. If you like this video, please like and subscribe for more content like this. Until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.